Listen to Mars on Metal on StilettoBroadcasting.com. Listen to your mom. Here we go. Enjoy.
Thanks so much for taking the time to do this for me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no.
Well, all right. I'm just going to get right into it. So, your three-headed snake project is being met with much excitement. What prompted you to go on ahead and start a new thing?
It was actually, to be honest with you, it really wasn't intentional. It happened because I had reconnected with the singer from my first real band from when I was about 9 years old. And about a year or two ago, he and I reconnected after, not having talked or been in contact with each other for over 20 plus years. And we just started talking about the possibility of re-recording some of our old stuff just for fun.
Right.
And so that was the idea that sort of got this thing rolling. And so the plan was just to re-record a couple of our old tracks. And in the process, I had written a couple of new old ideas, if that makes any sense.
It absolutely does.
So that's what got it rolling. And my schedule's pretty packed with ministry, so the idea was just to get to it when we had time. And in doing so, he had some health issues, and he had to go into the hospital and blah, blah, blah. And he's fine now, but he really wasn't able to sing anymore. And so I had these songs, and one night was just on the internet, and for some reason I clicked on this ad for this singer who was looking for a project, and I clicked on his link and saw a video of this guy singing, and I was blown away. And so I reached out to him, and that turned out to be Johnny Ray, which is the singer of my project now. And so, I reached out to him, and I explained to him the situation, that I had just a handful of these, classic sort of power metal kind of song ideas. And I was looking for a singer to do them. Wasn't really looking to start a new band or anything like that. It was more of a fun project for me, and something that I just kind of wanted to do in between, ministry stuff. And he was on board for it because he also has his own bands and projects and stuff in Florida. And so I just started sending him files, song ideas, and he would, send them back with vocals, and so that's how the whole thing kind of got started.
Wow, that's really cool. When did that get underway? When did you start working on that?
I want to say about a year, to be honest with you, is when we started. And like I said, it was anything that I was going, full on, sort of on the back burner, and simply because my schedule is just so crazy with ministry. But the past 6 months or so, things sort of slowed down, and so I kind of got back on that, and we, released. I released the name of the project, and then I released the demo. A song for a song called Wisdom Screams, and then we released another demo sort of teaser for a song called Catharsis, and so that's kind of where we're at, but it started about a year ago. We hope to get into the studio in the next in the next few months, hopefully, and the plan is to have something released before the end of the year. And we'd like to do a music video and release an EP, which will either have anywhere from 3 to 5 songs on it. But the plan is to have that before the end of the year. It's just kind of tough for me right now because, 1 minute I don't have anything in the books, and then all of a sudden my plate is full with ministry stuff. So I'm kind of waiting on a few things with ministry. I mean, we definitely have some things already booked, but I'm waiting for the fall sort of schedule to solidify.
Well, I really look forward to the whole release because I did enjoy that demo and shared the Sure, the living crap out of it.
Well,
You've
I'm glad
been,
people dug it. I was a little surprised, to be honest with you, because me, like, like I've been telling people, it's just a fun project for me. It's something that it's kind of the metal that I first started doing when I first started playing the clubs, and I'm not looking to reinvent the wheel. It's just classic metal, power metal, whatever you want to call it. Um, just having fun with it. I don't know if it gets to a live full band thing. I've thought about that. I've kicked that idea around. I have guys that in mind for it if and when that does happen. But we're kind of taking it just one day at a time with it. First we want to release a really nice sounding product. And I've been approached by labels that have already, that are showing interest in it. But again, that's I'm not even there yet. Like I first want to have a good decent recording. And if something happens, great, with a label. If not, I'll just release it myself, and I'll be happy just with having a good recording of these cool metal tunes.
yeah. Well, that's really cool. And who all is in the lineup in the studio right now recording with you?
It's just me. Like on those demos, it's me doing guitars, bass, keyboards, and drum programming, and then Johnny Ray's been doing the vocals. And so it's just been me at my home studio doing the recordings, and then sending the music over to Johnny, and then he does the lyrics and the vocals and sends them back, and then I've mixed them and whatever, done what I can and what I put in my little home studio. But it's just the two of us right now. And as far as once we get into the actual recording studio to track the EP, I don't know. I might bring in a bass player to do, record bass. But I'll probably do all the guitars in the studio and probably all the keyboards as well. And then as far as the drummer, I don't want to name yet, but I already have the drummer, all set up for the studio, for Three-Headed Snake.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How would you say that your personality is reflected in the work in Three-Headed Snake?
My personality?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question.
Thanks.
Well, if it's I think it shows another side of my personality, because I think that the few people that know who I am know me because of ministry, So I think that they see that side of me, but with this, I think they're going to see a little bit more of the fun kind of, because I don't know that people really know. Maybe some people do, but I like joke around and kid around 23 and a half hours out of the day.
That's the way to live.
Yeah, and I don't know that many people know that side of me or my personality, because I think some people see, especially with being in a band like Ministry, I think people see images and stuff like that. And when I meet people for the first time, a lot of times I hear like, wow, you're a lot nicer than I thought, you would be, or like, I get that a lot, and I'm like, wow, I guess it's weird for me because I know how I am, but people go off of the internet and images
Right.
and videos that they see, and maybe, they see me up there with a bandana around my face, and I don't know, maybe that just looks a little menacing, but so I think that the Three-Headed Snake project will show more of my my real sort of personality, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, you are actually. That's really wonderful. Now let me ask you this: who were your rock heroes when you were a kid?
Kiss.
Kiss. Excellent. I'm from
Yeah.
Detroit. So my older brother
really?
and I actually had original Kiss Army memberships back in the 70s.
Oh. Yeah,
and
I still have my membership card.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, I'm like that's the band that got me into playing. My first idols, influences, were Kiss. I was 6 years old when my older cousin brought over Kiss Alive, the first one, and that was it for me. That was what changed my life, and that literally what put me on the path of wanting to do this. And so I was like Kiss obsessed. I mean, you don't even know my Kiss stories and history and all that stuff.
Excellent. I love Kiss.
Yeah.
I've always loved Kiss, Detroit Rock City.
Yeah.
While the other mothers, protesting, my mother was dressing us up as members of the band. And I actually have a picture of me dressed up as Gene Simmons when I was like 7.
Yeah.
So I completely understand the love of Kiss.
Totally. Yeah.
That's so cool. You spend a great deal of time on the road. So I'm going to ask you, what's the best thing about being on the road for you?
The best thing about it is obviously the performing.
Right.
That is really the best part of it, because the other 22 hours sometimes can kind of suck. But that's the best thing about it is being and out and seeing the faces in the crowd and people just really digging what you're doing, and a lot of times, I mean, people just really going crazy from that I wrote in my in my house on my couch or something, and just seeing how it crosses just all kinds of boundaries and roads and sometimes people
generations even
up there, are just trying to sing back, and so it's definitely the performance aspect is what is the best thing about it.
All right, that leads me to my next question. What's the worst thing about being on the road?
The airports. The worst thing is the airports. I'm just old and crabby now, and just it's the. I mean, and believe me, I get it. There are far worse problems that a musician can have, but it's sometimes it's tiring. Just the luggage and this off and take that off and go through security and then wait and then flights are delayed and then lost luggage, and it's just that whole aspect of it is kind of a drag sometimes. And so that, I mean, if I had to say what the worst thing, it would probably be that.
Okay. I saw a post earlier this year about you doing a DJ event in Los Angeles.
Me doing a what?
You were a DJ as well?
DJ? Yeah, I DJ all the time. I just did a DJ gig Saturday night in San Diego.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is very cool.
I do. I started DJing, I want to say about 2 years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago. And I mean, I'm by no means some professional DJ. I mean, I'm still learning how to do it, but I've done DJ gigs all over the States, in Mexico, in Australia. I did a DJ tour last summer. So it's something that it's fun for me. It keeps me busy, when I'm not doing a band thing. I try to get as many DJ, gigs as possible. And usually I get booked at industrial goth clubs, or fetish events, fetish balls, all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? So it's usually I usually spin industrial, wave, goth, that kind of stuff.
Awesome. How much of what you write is autobiographical?
Well, I don't write any lyrics. I write all the music.
Okay.
So, I mean, it doesn't get much more real than that to me. I mean, even though it's just music and it's not lyrics, that is me exposing myself. So that is 1,000% me. And I really feel like, to me, that's just that's my way of speaking and of communicating, writing music is something that is extremely, extremely personal to me. So it's very difficult sometimes, to put it out there and
right.
to hear criticism. And, oftentimes I just hear bad criticism about
Oh, no.
But, Yeah, but it is what it is. I mean, it's something that and I hate to use the term artist, but it's something that as an artist you have to learn to deal with. Is anytime you put your stuff out there, you have to prepare for all the negativity and stuff like that, and then you try to let it just roll off your back. And it's at some point it just becomes part of just the process. You just know that you're going to put it out there. You're going to get X amount of hate mail and people just talking shit, and then you're going to have people that dig it. So it's all just part of the territory.
Understand. I heard a wonder today, and it said you can be the ripest, juiciest peach out there, and there is always going to be somebody who hates peaches.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I am extremely juicy, and people still
delicious and sweet. What was your plan B if rock and roll didn't work out for you?
To be a peach. There was no plan B for me, to be honest with you. It was this has been since I was 6 years old. This has been my focus, and in a strange, weird way. And I really don't want this to sound like I'm full of myself, but I always somehow had this weird feeling that it was going to happen for me and that I was going to make it. I don't know if that was just because the love for music was just so strong that I knew that regardless of where I was going to be doing what I loved. So I think maybe that's what ultimately gave me that feeling of knowing that I was always going to make it.
I understand that feeling. I do. Completely. So, that's cool.
Yeah.
And let me think. Oh, yeah. Do you have a personal motto or something like that? My personal motto is all you can do is ask. What's the worst that could happen? They could say no.
True. I mean, that's definitely something that, I have lived by as well. I don't know that I necessarily have a sort of statement, motto. It's just always been like my mentality has always been like if I want something, I just go get it. I just go after it. And to me, it's just like I've always set my mind on things, and I've been lucky enough to accomplish all of them. And I tell people if it all ended today, I would be completely content because I really did reach all of my goals. Everything that happens to me now is just icing on the cake. I'm not some household name, you know what I mean? But what I set out to do as a kid was to be able to tour, to have a record, to, be in record stores, be in, video, back when MTV was still around. I mean, I was on Headbangers Ball, all the major magazines. I mean, to 2 Grammy nominations, to now one of my guitars, hanging at the Hard Rock in Hollywood. I mean, those
I
are all
was going
things
to ask you about that. That's wonderful.
Just personal kind of goals that I accomplished, and I've been lucky enough, to accomplish. So, I guess, I don't know, a motto would just be to just go after, what it is that you want, and just, never take no for an answer, because I didn't. I just sort of had blinders on and went for it.
That's awesome. And it's done you well with the 2 Grammys and everything.
Yeah, well, 2 Grammy nominations. It's been good. The band has 6 Grammy nominations. We haven't won one yet. But, I never in a million years thought I would have a Grammy nomination, let alone 2. So it's definitely
That's impressive.
It's
so impressive.
Me, Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it is crazy. You never think that. At least I never thought that growing up. Like, oh, wow, I might get it. But never in a million years. Never, ever entered my mind, So it's really crazy, that happened to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I do appreciate you so much for doing this for me, Sin.
Problem.
You're very kind. And I'm really looking forward to the release of the entire Three-Headed Snake album. That'll be
Thank you.
Wonderful.
And that up. Yeah. It's
going to be
a lot of fun. It's going to sound great. I think people are going to dig it. I'm glad that people have been receptive to it, even with just a little tiny push that we've done. We haven't gone flat, on it yet because, like I said, we're just taking it sort of day, one step at a time, and once we do get the product, then we'll do a slightly bigger push for it. But again, it's more of something that I just have fun doing, and I'm really proud of Johnny. I think he's an amazing vocalist, and
The track I heard was amazing.
yeah, he's killer. I mean, and keep in mind that's just like the roughest of demos that you could ever do. I mean, that's not even in a studio or anything like that.
Right.
So, the once we get in there, it's gonna be pretty sick. So.
That's great. That's so great.
Yeah.
If you need any press releases, just let me know. I am your girl.
Sure.
I will do anything I can to spread the word because
awesome.
I've always loved Ministry. I've been listening to Ministry since 1983 or 84. So
awesome. Me too.
I do appreciate all this wonderful information. And when the interview goes live, I will send you.
Yeah, please do. Please keep me updated on it, and I'll share it and everything. And just so people know, whenever, I don't know when this will come out, but the first Ministry show is going to be May 27th out here in Southern California for the Blackest of the Black Festival.
Yeah, I saw that.
That night, May 27th, and then literally the day after that, we fly to Greece, and we will be in Europe for pretty much the entire month of June.
Uh-huh.
And then there's a possibility of doing something in July, but it's not like finalized yet. And then they're talking about a possible tour. I can't even mention the other stuff yet. There's a possibility of us touring the States in the fall. That's all I can say.
Okay, well, please come to Houston, and when you do, hit me up, because I would very much like to catch that show as well.
For sure.
Sweet. Sin, again, so much thanks. So much thanks.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. And like I said, whenever you guys get your ducks in a row with Three-Headed Snake, just pass anything you want me to promote on, and it is done.
Awesome. I appreciate that. I'll definitely keep you in the loop with that.
I'm Austin Vella, and you're listening to Mars on Metal at StilettoBroadcasting.com.